Hello and welcome to Blog Tornado. How are you today? And today I would like to talk about Bob Lazar. Now, what's inside this man's head is very interesting because this piece of information that he possesses is quite interesting for many reasons because, we haven't had an alien contact, a real alien contact in our history. And this could be maybe the first time that we're actually communicating with aliens, and according to his story, if the story is true. So now, but what's going on inside this man's head could be looked at different angles, okay? Especially when you look at from pathological point of view, because some people say that he's a pathological liar. So if you look at the story from that point of view, then you really have to analyze every single word that he says in his story. Although it's very well hidden because it's in the topic of area of UFOs. So in that category, anything can be pretty much said that includes an alien, UFO, and gray alien, and of course you have no way of telling whether it's true or not. So in his case, let's say this was viewed from pathological liar point of view, then you have to analyze the story word by word and understand where he's kind of leading you off into different directions as far as you yourself are concerned. So when you walk into his story and you're listening to his story, basically, a pathological liar is able to cover up his tracks of him lying. So every time he says a lie, he will cover it up with another lie. So now you wonder how that works. Well, basically, you're there for a reason. Listen to his story. So that's just a start. And as soon as you do that, you have no way of telling whether he's telling you truth or not, but you are listening to his story. So when he's telling you the story, and he's saying certain points in his what happened inside S4, and when he went inside the UFO and so forth. A pathological liar will try to distract you from what he previously told you with a new lie. So basically, when he shifts over from one thing to another, this is where you have to be very careful and understand what pathological liar will do. For instance, he's talking about how he went inside a UFO and so forth, and about a propulsion system, and when he was inside a UFO, he saw mini chairs that sort of looked like were made for some smaller race of people, aliens. And he went inside the UFO to investigate to see how the propulsion system was worked. And then suddenly he shifts on to saying that there was 9 UFOs. There was 9 of them. Okay, so right there it sort of throws you off and throws the whole story off right off the bat. And that's the only hint that we have how he leads you, makes your mind focus into a different direction by telling you that he saw 9 UFOs. So therefore you no longer focusing on what he was saying to you previously, and he cover up his lie now with his story about the 9 UFOs. Okay, so now you're suddenly, of course, you're not going to listen anymore to what he was saying previously, and you're going to listen about, now your mind is filled in with like 9 UFOs, right? So you're thinking about that. So he distracts you from it by saying something really ridiculous. So, and every time he says that, something new and ridiculous, is because he tries to shift your focus away from previous lie to a new lie, okay? And eventually you don't know what to believe anymore. So that's what really happens in a pathological mind. They know how to cover up tracks. But let's say, for instance, if you have a compulsive liar's mind is different. For instance, when they say lies, telling lies, eventually you figure out, if if you're with them, you eventually figure out that that what they're saying is bullshit, because they do it so many times. Eventually, like, they have no proof of when you confront them with the truth. And then so they're very easy to read, compulsive liars, because they don't mind getting caught. Unlike with pathological liars, it's a little bit, I would say it's a little bit different, because they know how to hide their tracks. So, they cover it up with another lie. And again, it's a perfect place, a perfect area of things to be telling lies, because really you're a person who just walks into the story and heard about aliens a little bit here and there, and you're just helpless because you really don't have any physical evidence of any kind, and therefore you're prone to believe a lot what comes out on the internet, on YouTube, and a lot of people fall into that booby trap right there, because a lot of stories on internet is probably 98% of that is fake. So but either way, you see, you have no way of telling whether it's fake or not, because you just don't have a physical evidence, a footage or so. That's why we like to watch YouTube with the actual UFO footage, because that at least proves us something, that there is, actual footage, actual evidence behind it. But with Bob Lazar, like, again, it's just another story, just like Star Wars doesn't have any, these stories, they both have no physical evidence to prove whether things like that exist. So, even myself, I'm a witness of orbs. I've seen them before with my own eyes. I can tell you that over and over. But, trying to make you believe that, it will be next to impossible, because without evidence, you're just not going to believe it. Although, you're free to check it out at blogtornado.com. Inside UFO section, and one of the articles I talked about UFO orb phenomena. I write my story article about orbs, and but I'll tell you this. I'll put a link below about from Western Massachusetts. Okay, now that video shows literally what I've seen with my own eyes. Now here you have a physical proof. A real footage. So, and the similarities are pretty much what I saw, and I'm 100% this video is authentic. And so have a look for yourself. And but what's more interesting about this particular story, because there are many different orb videos out there, but this particular video shows a message from orbs as well, which I think is very interesting, and which sort of ties into Bob Lazar's story again. If the story is true, right? So, like I said, we have no way of saying whether it's true or not. So, but let's say it's true, and there's some truth to it. But the first thing that would come to my mind, and look at those 9 UFOs now from a different angle. Let's say the story was true, then why would they? Aliens leave 9 UFOs behind. They're not. We have to realize something here. First of all, aliens are way ahead of us, thousands of years ahead of our evolution. You have to understand, whatever they do, it's for a reason, and they think as well about every step, a single step they're doing, and everything that will come out as outcome. They already know it, okay? They know the psychological impact that UFOs will have once they're once we see them, and the technology, and what we will think about that. So any kind of sophisticated technology like that, you have to understand whoever made it is not stupid, okay? So they know how we're gonna react, or more so, they might even be there to UFOs to be observing us rather than we observing them. So whoever, they know what exactly the technology can have, what kind of influence can it have on a person. And yes, they're very smart. We have to remember that they're very intelligent and way ahead of us. So we must not think those UFOs are just there out of the blue, okay, for no reason. And why are they there? Okay, so if you look at how this ties into this orb video that I left below, the link below for you from Western Massachusetts. Okay, see how what the message of orbs is trying to say. What is the message in that video? Basically, you see a big orb at the end, and that's what catches my attention, because it's coming down, and it's coming down to the middle orb that is just below, which I'm 100% sure it represents our Earth. And other orbs is spread, one to the left, one to the right. It just says the life was spread across the universe, and some of that life fall into, which is comet, could be with microbial life that hit our Earth. So basically, that's all cool and dandy, but you know what? On the end of the video, you can see the big orb, and that big orb slowly comes down back into the smaller orb, which represents the Earth. But as you saw in the beginning, those smaller orbs are coming out of the big orb. So like I said, is that our Creator that spread life across the universe? Because the orbs are coming out of the big orb. And basically, could be two things. Okay, big orb coming back down could mean those who were the creators, our original creators, who created us. And they're coming down here to Earth, and to because we did send signals into space, so maybe they got them, they know where we are now, which Stephen Hawking said, don't send signals into space, but we still did it. So it could be now in DNA we could be programmed to do so, actually, to send signals back into space. That's what aliens, creators, actually program us that way, so to do it so. But maybe it's not a wise idea, because yes, we don't know who our creators are. Or that big orb could also represent an asteroid or some large object, possibly asteroid, yes, that could hit the Earth. And why am I saying that? How is that tied into Bob Lazar's story? Well, it's simple. Well, you have to imagine why, saying that there was 9 UFOs in S4 is a very, very interesting thing, and the quantity there is just a little bit too much. One too many, you know what I'm saying? And because of that, something tells me that, you have to understand that UFOs are basically just vehicles, right? For transportation reasons. And why would they leave us something that, like a vehicle such as UFO? There's only one purpose for those kind of things, is basically to, fly away or whatever, to use them for transportation. So, and if I'm correct, what's shown in that video from Massachusetts, there possibly could be that something's heading towards our Earth, something big that might cause a big catastrophe. And we're known, before that happened to our Earth before, such rocks has landed to wipe out the dinosaurs. And also you can see so many craters on the moon. That definitely tells us something, right? It has to kind of say, yeah, something did hit our Earth. And that's pretty much what's going on in the universe, basically. Things are just colliding with each other, most of the time. And all those explosions are mainly caused because, happen because of collisions. So, also on Mars, there's a big scarf there as well. And there you can also understand that, something hit Mars there as well. So again, back to the 9 UFOs. Did aliens leave those 9 UFOs for us, basically as a transportation vehicles, like escape pods? So that's a big question. If the story is true, and that's the only reason why I'm interested in Bob Lazar's story, nothing more. From him being inside the vehicle, sure, that's interesting as well. Inside the UFOs and so forth and so forth. But the fact that why there was 9, it's a little bit more interesting to me than the rest of the story. So that's what happens. And so this story could go both ways. Again, is it some made-up story? Is it a work of a pathological liar? Like I said, they have a way of technique how to cover their lies with another lie, and maybe they that's how they operate, and we are not able to decode. Because why? Because again, UFOs it's a very gray area. Like I said, why do you think the aliens are gray, right? Just kidding. Yeah, it's a very gray area. Gray area 51 should be more precise, better name for that. But if you come to think about it, yeah, um, it could be many different things. So yeah, one of them could be pathological lying, another one could be a real story. So we can't say, but in any case, um, if Bob Lazar is a pathological liar, you have to remember that he's innocent person. It's a defect in the brain that happens when you're born, and brain has no way of understanding tell the difference between the truth and a lie. So basically, the actual brain believes what is being said, and therefore there's no way of detecting if this person is lying or not, because the consciousness and the moral part of that person is not functioning properly, and therefore they don't exhibit any kind of unusual behavior when they talk, because they really believe what they're saying. So there will be no sweating, there will be no rapid eye movement, there will be no stuttering in the voice. All of those kind of things, polygraph tests won't affect this person because they really believe what they're saying. They just cannot recognize the truth from from a lie, in a nutshell. So and there are definitely, as you can see, Bob Lazar is a normal guy, looks like a normal guy. He's a smart guy, but yet if he's a pathological liar, it's very hard to, it's a condition that is not something to make fun of, because it's just, the person cannot distinguish between the truth and a lie, and again, that's what makes them so good at the story they're telling, because they believe what they're saying. And so unlike people who lie, and they're conscious about it, normal people, we all lie, and the thing is, but to what degree, right? There's people who would lie mainly for personal gain, and to get rich, whatnot. So that's the kind of people you'd like to be careful of, because they're not innocent when it comes to lying. They're really doing it for profit or whatever it might be. So we don't want that in our world. So unfortunately, like I said, there's also liars, but they're innocent because they're just they lie consistently, and those kind of people, they won't show any regret or they won't exhibit any kind of unusual behavior when they lie, because they're innocent, because they don't know better. They don't realize their moral part of distinguishing to distinguish the lie from the truth doesn't function properly. Basically, that's what it is, and that's something to be aware of if the story is made up from a pathological point of view. But if not, then we have to again take this story super seriously. If later on if we get any kind of more facts about the story, and only the military knows the truth, really, because they're in possession of those 9 UFOs, the technology, and they know what's going on. We just don't know nothing, pretty much, because we don't have nothing to work with here. It's just any regular UFO story, like out there on YouTube. Very the same thing, except like we said, there's 9 UFOs. To me, that will be, the only thing that, to be quite honest, such technology can actually take us out of this place, and we are finally able to see the universe and how things looks like on different planets. Maybe we'll finally able to see Pandora, planets like that, habitable planets like that, and that's that's the only way to do that in our lifetime. And whoever gets hold of that technology is through, of course, those UFOs that Bob Lazar is talking about. And perhaps there were some other UFOs in the history of UFOs that we don't know about. But anyways, for sure, this is our only chance, that if this story is true, that we could actually, travel the universe and see what's out there for real, because in our lifetime, we're never gonna, most of us, all of us perhaps, will never see any further than, what's on our planet. We never, from airplane and that type of thing. That's certainly not from a UFO. So and that's about it, really. That's worth talking about as far as Bob Lazar goes. Yeah, so if you enjoyed the show, then you please subscribe. I think the subscribe button is right here on the right side, down at the bottom right corner. And if you like, you can give it a thumbs up. Much would be appreciated. Thank you. And I will talk to you more in the next video, whatever that's going to be about. And like I said, I do talk about many different things. There might be a little bit different topics on blogtornado.com that don't really tie into anything mysterious or anything like that. But how can I not talk about mysterious things, because I am also a witness of orbs that I've seen myself, UFO phenomena, and I have to say, it's a very interesting thing to see, something you can never forget. Okay, so but if you are not a person that never seen something like that before, a UFO before, then I suggest you to check the video below from Western Massachusetts. It's not my video, I just came across it, but that's the pretty much what I've seen. So I have a witness here, and I also have a physical evidence to see as well. So there you go. And on the end, it's really up to you. Believe what you like. So yeah, peace out. Take care.